Hi everyone, I'm Josh Uy, and I'm finally doing something that I've been wanting to do for a very long time. I'm creating this show where I can talk to different people from different backgrounds about any topic. For this episode, my very first episode, I'm going to talk to Chris Charles, an ASEAN Basketball League legend, three-time Defensive Player of the Year, two-time MVP, and an ABL champion. We wanted to make it more of a free flow thing, back and forth discussion, but due to some internet problems, we couldn't really do that. He's in Bangkok, I'm in Manila, but hopefully you still enjoy this. Here's my interview with Chris Charles.
Hey Chris, thank you for being my first guest. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm hanging in there, man. Hope everybody's doing well on your end.
Yeah, so before we talk about all the basketball stuff, I think we need to talk about current situation. So here in the Philippines, we've been under community quarantine for at least 3 weeks now. Where are you now, and how's everything there?
Uh, I'm in I'm in Thailand. I'm in Bangkok. They've I I think they've like slowly started to make changes. It hasn't been as strict as it has been there, as what I've seen, but they have like a nighttime curfew. But it isn't like a complete lockdown yet. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but
Mm,
they're handling it.
okay, I think we need to talk about how this is affecting, a lot of countries, but especially the sports world.
Right.
Uh, there's no sports at all right now. There's no NBA. There's no even the local leagues here in the Philippines, the ABL. They're canceled or they're suspended. So how are you coping without no sports, without any games at all?
Uh, it's just a unique situation that we've never
Mm,
been through to see this have this like impact have in every country globally just to see players. For me, like it's tough, but like I had like a not similar situation obviously, but like being injured and out for a time where I couldn't
mm,
like really run or like I kind of was in the house a little bit, so not really to me to have like to be away from the game,
mhm.
but just to see it impact everybody else has been like it's been crazy like how guys haven't been able to like play and leagues just suddenly stop. And when the ABL stopped, it was like, wow, this thing is like really, really serious. Actually,
Yeah.
the league I was in here, I was playing in here, stopped because high tech they went to South Korea, and then when they came up, the virus started picking up. Like it got more serious. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's just been like devastating to see it. Like guys just, but at the same time, I think it's been good to give people a chance to like really appreciate the game and reflect and look back on like, all right, this is something that's like precious, especially like for younger players, to have something.
We've been talking about the entire situation, how it's affecting everyone about their jobs. And I don't think a lot of people realize also the athletes are very affected since there's no jobs, the leagues are suspended, they can't play. So, how's your experience with it, and how's the stories of other friends, other athletes? How are they coping with it?
Um, yeah, like you said, like this impacts our livelihood, our ability to make money. So I think I've seen like a lot of guys like trying to like pivot their view onto some things that how can they make money outside of the game, like really um, just looking into ideas about other careers or investing into other things outside of the opportunity for guys to really think outside of the game, and try to figure out, um, think about life after basketball. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. So I guess now we can talk about, you've been an ABL all-timer, top 10. You've been in the league for what, the 7 out of the 10 seasons of the ABL. So I guess we can talk about your experiences in the ABL. Let's start with uh, for a lot of teams. You played for a lot of teams. who were the best teammates on and off the court?
Man, it's been so many awesome guys, man. So many people I've built relationships with. But as far as like a teammate, um, it's like do things that you expect from like a guy that's going to be the leader, and that means like just bringing it every day in practice, working hard, encouraging your teammates, being good to people off the court. Just a lot of different characteristics. I got to put like Steven up there, and I think other guys would agree that played with him. He's just like so unselfish. He's like keeping guys together, joking around, and like he knows when to be serious and hold guys. Enough, like when we first started in ABL, we was like fierce competitors. Like people thought we would be able to play together because we had like a lot of like tense moments playing against each other, but we really fit together when we played. I put him up top teammates, and Xavier Alexander. He's also like a really good team. He has the ability to like manage personalities. You know, that's how to get the best out of how to get him. And it's just like a natural thing for him. Like he just knows how to bring that out of players. So those two guys I put up there is like really good leaders and teammates.
Yeah, since you mentioned,
but it's I go on. That's a long list.
Yeah.
But those are just two guys off the top of my head.
I know we didn't plan to talk about this, but since you mentioned Xavier, I'm just wondering, why do you think that they've been in the finals for the last 3 out of 4 finals, but they haven't really reached the championship? They didn't have a championship season yet. What do you think is lacking, or what do you think they need to do in order to get over that hump?
I don't think that they were missing anything in that. I don't think they were missing anything in that series. No, I think it was just you catch bad breaks during the course of a game, and CLS Wei Long hit that shot. He happened to be, the from Singapore national team. He kind of is like storybook type of thing, man.
Yeah.
But as far as that year, I don't think we're missing anything. I think they had great chemistry. The locals have always been solid. But I think it says a lot about X and the organization, that they've been able to continue to go there. It's just like people don't understand how hard it is to get over, the hump. But it says a lot about the organization, about X. They keep bringing him back. He's an MVP. He has a good relationship with the locals. I think they're always right there. Even this past year, they were struggling with the chemistry a little bit, but they were always, competitive, and you never know what could happen. But like I said, I just think it was just like, man, it just was, Wei Long hit that shot. It just was something from like a movie thing. They were right there.
Yeah, I was there in the building. I was working for the ABL at that time. And you can feel the energy just being sucked out of the building when Wei Long hit that shot. We all thought that Singapore had it. It was complete shock when the buzzer sounded. But yeah, I agree with you. It was just a tough break for them. Okay, so you've played with a lot of players, both imports and locals. Who were the most hardest to guard throughout your career? Maybe because they were fast or they were strong. Who were the people who were hardest to guard?
Just in recent memory, I think a tough guard is Will Artino from Malaysia. I think because like his level of like intensity, he's always bringing energy. He's always like you can't let up on him. Like, he's always playing hard, and his versatility, like he can shoot, and he's gonna go to his left hand. That's like his move, but he continuously gets it off guys. You know what I mean? He's relentless with that. So I think with his versatility, man, he's a tough guard. Somebody that's just tough to guard because he's versatile. I can't think of anybody else right now But that's one of the guys in recent memory that I remember, like, I respect. You know what I'm saying? He can go.
So over your playing years in the ASEAN Basketball League, has there been any player that has given you extra motivation when you're facing them? When you see that matchup in the schedule, is there someone that you're hyped up to play, or you want to prove yourself, or just basically there's just that extra push to play better against him?
Like back in the beginning of my career, like my first year, when we used to play the Indonesia Warriors, like I said they were like the bad boys, you know, of the ABL, like the Pistons bad boys of the ABL. They had like Stephen Thomas, they had Mario, they had Stanley Pringle, even though he was injured. But they had like just so much talent, and they played with a certain amount of toughness. And Coach Todd Purves had them playing like the college team, you know what I mean? Like really organized together. So like, and me and Stephen Thomas had this thing, man, because he was just like, everybody, you know what I'm saying? He was like the bully of the league. Yeah. Everybody was like intimidated by him. So I used to look for him. I used to be up to him. And then again, like just playing in the Philippines, it's not like one particular player, but like they always are like, you know, they powerhouse in the region. So like whenever you play there, just the atmosphere is different. It's a different type of energy. The fans, you know, the locals, everybody. It's just like a basketball, a great basketball atmosphere. Where I will always get up for that. Like that was something I couldn't wait to perform in the Philippines.
Yeah. So you know, whenever I watch interviews of NBA players, you talk about the greatest trash talkers in the NBA, how Gary Payton or Michael Jordan trash talk on the court. Is there any ABL player that really talked a lot or did a lot of trash talk while playing? That, you know, maybe got under your skin for a bit? Yeah. Can you name names?
Well, Moses, he stuff, and it's just like it's not I love it. It's like the stuff that he says, and at the times that he chooses to say it, like it'll bother me. So like it not bother me, but it's like it's something that I take notice of. Like, all right, man. Like Moses is a real competitive dude. We've played against each other. We played with each other. It's one of my good friends in the league. But he's like, but it's more so to get his teammates hyped up. You know what I'm saying? He'll say some stuff to get his teammates hyped up, but I feel like it'll be directed towards like indirect the opponent, but he'll say it to it like his teammates, you know what I'm saying, to get them hyped up. But like just recently, like him, played against him a couple of times and he said some things. But yeah, Moses Morgan talks. He's a vocal guy. Stephen Thomas, I know I'm talking about Steve a lot, but like I've just having experience with him, played with him and against him for so long. He talks a lot. He talks crazy. So yeah, those guys. But a lot of people, it's not as like prevalent as you would think it would be. Like a lot of times guys talk like to their teammates, get their teammates hyped up.
Okay. Do you ever talk back when someone's talking trash? Do you ever talk back?
Yeah, but I really don't get into it that much, man, because a lot of times I'm in my own head. But I will respond. You know what I mean? I will respond, but I try to keep it poised and even because that's just like some people, they thrive off of that. I thrive off of it, but like not putting it out, just I internalize it. Yeah. But I will say something back.
Yeah. So you've been, like I said, in the ABL for 7 of the past 10 seasons. Is that right? Or at least you've played for 7 seasons in the ABL. Going forward, do you think there's anything the ABL could improve or could make it more interesting or better? How can the ABL grow in the next 10 years, in your opinion?
First, I got to say, I think they've done an incredible job of every year getting better. But I think one of the things that could make them improve, as far as just like just mixing it up and making it a little bit more interesting and fan engagement, is they used to have this thing called the Hoop Fest They did it
Mm.
my first year in the ABL. It was kind of like an all-star weekend type thing, but we played games. All the teams came into Vietnam. We played games. They had like a three-point competition, a dunk contest. I think if they expand on that, maybe the all-star game, kind of have like an all-star weekend. You know what I mean? Now with so many countries involved, I think it would really get fan engagement up. It would add some interesting things. They could have like a skills competition. There's some fans involved in that. Some like low level in the hoop fest. Yeah, and a cool thing to maybe have is like all can.
If now shifting from the ABL to the NBA, I read somewhere that Shaq talking about Duncan, that Duncan was more of a product of the team, of Coach Pop. You being a big man yourself and a pro basketball player, can you weigh in on that? Do you agree with Shaq, or do you have your own opinions about it? It's just an interesting thought coming from Shaq.
In that particular instance, like what he was talking about, I think I do believe that certain players thrive better in certain situations if you put a guy, like if you put certain guys in a culture that's different, where it's not as tight knit, or they don't have things flowing as easily as they might get. They might not flourish the way they would. I see that, experienced it myself. With feel more productive in one system than I did in the other. But you still got to be able to. If a good player is going to be able to perform in any situation. So I think any greatest power forward of all time, I feel like any situation that he was placed in, he would have thrived in, or he would have made it. And I think that like people underestimate what he contributed to make a lot of the cultures as well. Like, it's not just even from the management and like the coaches that go on to coach in other places, they have established something. But I think also like the players, you have to give him credit to building the culture there too. Like he was a leader there. He was a guy that helped contribute to the thing. So I feel like if he would have went somewhere else, they were saying he would have went to Orlando or something. He would have had success there as well. And I don't know about the championships, you know what I mean? But as far as just him as an individual player and what he means to the game, I feel like he still would have had an impact. It's just like, but I do agree that like, not 100% though. I think he would have been successful everywhere he went. And I think Shaq said something like, if you would have put Chris Webber in that situation, it would have been the same. I just think you can't compare those two as far as like I just don't agree with like what he said about. I don't agree with what he said about Tim Duncan, because it kind of discredits some of this that Tim did. But that's Shaq, his entertainment.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Spurs were the Spurs also because of Tim Duncan. So we're at the tail end of our conversation. I'd just like to ask you, who are the players in your NBA Mount Rushmore? Who are the best players of all time? Your top four.
Top four. That's tough, man. It changes, like it shifts. It depends, but off the top, man, like I think I put Kareem up there. I feel like he gets overlooked a little bit. I think he'll be appreciated. Like, once people, you have to really go back and look at his entire career, man, from high school on. He was always a winner. What he meant to the game, man, both on and off the court. Who else? LeBron. I put LeBron up there. I know that's going to be like a controversial one. I don't want to leave anybody off, but like he's still doing his consistency and his longevity. And what he is like the new athlete. What he represents is like he's improving so many different things within the game. And then Jordan, what can you say, man? That's MJ, man.
Yes.
Man, that last one is tough, man. That last one is tough, man. Probably Kobe. Probably Kobe.
Good choice.
Put a big man there, and like, well, it changes. Like it changes. It varies. Who is your Mount Rushmore?
Mine, David Jordan. I wasn't a LeBron fan, but I think I have to put LeBron. I have to be honest. I have to put LeBron there. Um, just because of bias, growing up, I watched him, Kobe Bryant, and I don't know. Maybe Kareem could be there. Who else? Maybe Shaq. I don't know. So yeah, it's a hard question. That's why I'm asking you, the pro basketball player. So maybe we can just one more question before we end. Is that good?
Okay.
Okay. So you've been playing for a long time now. You have success. You've won championships, MVPs. What advice can you give to young players who want to play basketball for a living, who plans to go pro, play overseas? What are your advice for them so that they can have a successful career?
This is a given. You have to always work. You always have to put the work in to 10,000 hours. You know what I mean? Like and more. You always have to be working on your craft. That's the obvious. That's like the price of admission. That's you got to do that. But aside from just putting in the work, I think like what we were talking about before, like how I said that if you put good players in any situation, they'll be able to adapt. I think that young players have to understand that um, they have to be able to perform in any situation that they're put in, when especially as a pro and as an import. Um, if you don't perform right away, you can get sent home. So you have to be able to adapt to different situations. And so if that means before you go to a team, you have to do your homework. Like, what does this team need from me? What type of personnel do they have? What is the coach's style like? Really, you got to be a nerd about your craft. So like, just research and do due diligence on like what situation am I being placed in. And then as far as just like, I think one thing that gets overlooked, and I talked about this before, man, is just like being able to be a good teammate, like be a good person off the court. And that doesn't mean you have to like be fake or anything, but try to interact with people and be personable. And like for me, I'm a laid back dude, but I try to find ways to connect with people and my teammates because that goes far, man. It's a lot of talented players, a lot of good skilled players, you know what I mean, athletes. But what you do as far as like your leadership and getting along with people and caring about your teammates, encouraging them. So just like focus on a lot of the off the court stuff because that pays off just in the long term as far as having relationships with people. And at the end of the day, that's what basketball is about, man. Is having relationships and building memories, and that's how you get it. It's from like the championship team I was on. We were close off the court, you know what I mean? And it wasn't like fake. I mean, we just found ways to hang out with each other, and it carried over into the court. So I would encourage young players to like take into account what it means to be a good person off the court, leadership, and then the hard work stuff. You already got to have that. I mean, to be a pro, but the off the court stuff is important.
Yeah, that's good advice. So last question before I let you go. I think a lot of people are wondering, what's your future plans? Do you still plan to play for a lot of years? What's your plan after basketball? What are you working on outside the court?
So, like, my goal is to keep, like you said, continue to play for a couple more years. But off the court, especially now, this has been like a blessing into disguise as far as having time to really redirect some of my attention on Cultivate Basketball, which is like my venture that I'm working on right now. As far as like I've done like camps throughout Southeast Asia, kind of like outreach programs, connecting to communities, and just giving back my knowledge and passion for the game, and just finding new and unique ways to teach kids basketball, but also, like I said, about the off the court stuff. I talk to them about meditation, about nutrition, about leadership, about like proper sleep, all these things that it takes to be like a athlete, you know what I mean, but also a person, a more complete person. So that's what, Cultivate Basketball is about. I hope to do one in the Philippines once this thing dies. So yeah, that's my next thing is trying to get some things going with, Cultivate Basketball.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Chris. Thank you for being my first guest this new thing that I'm
Thank you.
doing. Hope to see you soon. Take care, okay?
Hey, thank you so much, man, and be safe, man, and good luck. Good luck. Thank you.
So that's it for my very first episode. Thank you to Chris Charles. Thank you for accepting my invitation. Thank you for his time. I hope you like it. Comment and subscribe. Let me know who do you want me to interview next, what topic, and I'll try to do it for you. So see you again next time, guys.